So 3D printing for everyone. 3D printing has been around for a long time, as many of you probably know. But it's becoming really accessible now for everyone. And what's driving that? Well, first and foremost, the 3D software tools are becoming more and more accessible. Back in the 1990s, 3D software was horrendously expensive, and I was actually part of changing that, working with the vendor group back in 2000, publishing the first free 3D software that was free for anyone to use. And as a result, a huge community grew around that software. And I'm happy to see that many companies have followed that example. Today you have SketchUp, you have Tinkercad, Autodesk has published 1-2-3D App and 1-2-3D Catch, and there are many more 3D tools that people can download and use. And as a result, we see that many people are learning 3D software for the sole purpose of 3D printing, which is very exciting. Next to that, the prices have come down dramatically. When I started to look into 3D printing back in 2006, getting something 3D printed, even as small as an iPhone case, was very expensive. And today that is becoming very, very affordable. The prices for an iPhone case dropping to about $20. And even with the home machines that are now prevalent, there are so many different machines that you can buy for home. People can print it either at home or can use platforms. And then, of course, new materials have become available. They came from research first, and they're now becoming more and more mainstream. When I started looking into 3D printing, it was only plastic, and people knew about plastic. Today, it's about metals, and about ceramic, and about precious metals, multiple color plastic, multiple color products in any ways. And pretty soon, we'll start seeing printers making multiple material products. And where that will lead, no one really knows today. So, it's changing how we think about products, and it's thinking how products are made, because what this is really driving is the democratization of manufacturing. Instead of big companies having access to manufacturing capabilities, now anyone can make stuff. And that is fundamentally changing things. And I'll explain a little bit more about how that is going to change things. As a result, anyone can create, not only in the digital domain. You can't only create like PowerPoint slides, or you can create software, but now you can create products, things you can hold in your hand that are meaningful to you. And it depends on who you are, what is meaningful to you, but it can be jewelry, or it can be, things for your hobby, like remote-controlled aircraft, and the quadcopters are very popular, or whether you want to make games, whether it's home decor, you make your own coffee cups and vases. It's really up to you to define the value of what this new way of manufacturing means to you. And what we see is that actually a large majority of people are as a result engaging, even with having no prior skills in this. 50% of people having a shop on Shapeways actually taught themselves how to 3D model themselves. They didn't go to school for that, they just taught it themselves. And actually that is one of the drivers for engagement. That's one of the drivers for why this is becoming more and more popular. It's getting easy enough for anyone to do this, and that is really exciting. And as a result, we saw a growth of over 100% of people who are making things on our site, on Shapeways, which is really cool, and it really unlocks the creativity of people. Your imagination is becoming the only limitation of what you can get, and that is really different from the time where you had to go to a shop to get a physical product. Even 12-year-olds are engaging. We have this community member that was trying to figure out what he should make with 3D printing, and he figured out that making a nice case for his iPod made total sense to him, and now he can. He put it in his shop, and he could even sell it out to a worldwide audience, which is kind of cool. So how do you make your own products using Shapeways? Well, you use 3D software if it's for yourself, and you can create anything depending on what you want. Whether it's small or big, whether it's jewelry or something for your hobby, it doesn't matter. And when you're happy with the results, you just upload it to our site. And this is where we make it a lot easier than it used to be, because a lot of these 3D files need fixing before you can really print it. buy something wants to have it in their home the day after, and soon it will be a reality too. You can also sell your designs, and this is really a powerful concept. Because when we started Shapeways, the first thing I had in my mind is that people would make and create their own products. Maybe by themselves or maybe with friends, working in groups. But the thought of that people could sell it to others is really opening up the accessibility of 3D printing to a much wider crowd. All of a sudden, you can just simply go to a website and click on something and have it. And since 3D printing enables us to make things that don't make economical sense to make with mass manufacturing, these things are not available in the normal shops. And on top of that, you can engage with the community, with the designer who created it, and you can ask him to change it. I have an example of that where I love coffee, and one of our community members made a beautiful coffee cup. And when I bought it, I found out that it was actually slightly too small for my espresso. So I asked him, can you size it up by like 10%? So it holds the perfect amount of coffee for me. And of course he did that. So now I have a perfectly sized, beautifully shaped espresso cup. Or actually I have 6 of them. And they're 3D printed. And I can have that now as a result of this enabling thing. How does it work? Well, the same as in the beginning where you make it for yourself, you upload it, you see the price that it costs to manufacture, and then you can publish it, you can put it in your shop. You can add beautiful pictures of how it's supposed to be used, you can add a description, you can interact with people who are interested in it, and you decide what the price of this product will be. Whether it will be $1 more than the production cost, or whether it's $10 more, it really depends what you think that people are willing to pay for it. And then depending on that price, you will sell a few or you will sell a lot. And of course also on the beauty of how beautiful the design is. And as a result, anyone can start making money. And that's a very powerful concept. It actually unlocks a new economic engine. There's a lot of talk about how 3D printing can bring manufacturing back to the United States. And of course it will, I truly believe, because with 3D printing we have a factory here in New York City. If you can manufacture in New York City, you can manufacture anywhere in the United States. And that's one aspect, it makes manufacturing local again. But it actually unlocks a much wider potential. And I'd like to make the analogy with how the internet made software entrepreneurs have access to the market without any barriers. If you were into software before the internet and you wanted to publish your software, that was art. You had to get your software very well tested because you had no way to update. Then you had to put it on carriers like floppies and CD-ROMs, remember those days? And then you had to put it in stores. And for an independent entrepreneur, that was extremely hard to do. Sure, a few were successful in doing so, and they built huge companies around it like Microsoft. But for most people, those barriers to enter the software market were almost too high to overcome. Now came the internet, and all of a sudden, as a result of the internet, people could build their own websites. They could make their applications available to download for free or for money on sites like Shareware and GitHub our platform was the easiest way for them to go directly to market. They model their products in 3D, they upload it to the site, they figure out whether it's right, they even get some test samples, and after that works for them, they can now start selling it to a worldwide audience. And as a result, they start making money, and actually they're one of the more successful entrepreneurs in Shapeways, unlocking the potential of the market for their products in a very easy way. Because the only thing they have to do is come up with the idea, make sure it's modeled well, and it's available, make good pictures, promote it, and when people start buying, we take care of the rest of the process. We take care of the manufacturing, of the supply chain, we'll ship it to their users, we take care of customer support. So it's like a really worry-free way for people to set up their businesses, not with virtual products, but with real products. And that's exciting. And as a result, we have over 13,500 people already do that. And actually 84% of these people want to quit their daytime job and become a full-time product designer, product seller on our platform, which is, I think, very, very exciting to see that there's so much demand for that. And I've said this before, I'm rooting for the day that we'll see the first Shapeways millionaire. Someone who has such a successful shop, who has such compelling products, that he sells so many that he makes $1 million. I hope that will be pretty soon. We definitely want to help them. So, okay, why is this such a compelling idea? Well, first and foremost, first and foremost, there's hardly any risk for you as an entrepreneur to bring your product to market. Just like with software nowadays, setting up a website, setting up a software as a service is so easy. It's just the time you spend in executing the idea, which of course can be considerable, but at the same time, you don't have to take out a loan and manufacture 100,000 of those items anymore. You put it online, you promote it, and then you'll see what your customers want, or whether they like it. You actually can get feedback, and you can work with them to make sure that your next version becomes better, and your next version becomes better. And that's because you have no inventory. There are no startup costs. And this is a beautiful design from one of our earlier designers who joined the community, Cornelissen. He made a little foot for an iPad, and it was actually almost an instant success. Lots and lots of people loved it, and he made a lot of money. It also is this democratizing the designer toolbox. I met two designers out in California who founded a company called Fathom and Form. And what they wanted to do is create a whole new sort, a whole new way, concept of jewelry. They had this great idea how it should look like with very specific, aesthetics to it. And, can you imagine how hard it is without these 3D printing platforms to get that into the market? I mean, again, the best bet is to convince someone at Tiffany's or another jewelry company to license your idea and bring it to market. The chances of that for you to pull that off, especially if you're undergrads, the chances are almost zero. So what they did instead, they modeled it and they 3D printed them. They made sure that their aesthetic was exactly right, and now they can start selling it. They need no machine investments. There's a lot of hard work in getting the right models there, but compared to what it would have taken in a mass manufacturing concept, it's fundamentally different. And actually they're selling them, and they're very happy and successful, and it's great to see. You can get direct access to customer input. This is another way to engage. We developed an API for people to make their own software and then directly integrate it with our manufacturing platform. And the guys at Crayon Creators came up with this cool idea that kids could make their own drawings, and then you take a picture of it and you upload it to them, and they turn it into a physical product. And I've seen, the owner of this company, he gave a few of these things to his little daughter, and the smile on her face is really the power, that shows the power of this concept. Anyone can now create, and what that means, creating, is different for anyone, right? It can be a little inscription on something, it can be providing the color and texture for a little model or the shape, or it can be starting on a blank canvas using 3D software, and you can get anything. And the fact that anyone now has access to these capabilities is very powerful, it's very meaningful. time to market also is a very interesting thing. For mass manufactured things, you bring products to market in a year or more. We're very impressed with big companies like Apple, how they keep iterating and bringing new products to market pretty fast every year or so. But typically they're staggering them, and they're already working on the next product years before. With 3D printing, that isn't necessary anymore. It's the prototype is the end product, can be the end product. And even the prototyping cycles can be so fast because the way to manufacture the end product is the same as the way to prototype. So if the prototype is right, you can put it into the market. And as a result, more and more people will more quicker bring products to market. This is an example from a designer, Kuniko, who came up with this idea just because he could, to make a coffee cup every day of the month. He made 30 of them. And we printed them all, and they're really, not all very practical, but they're really beautiful. And he just did this because he could. This is in mass manufacturing absolutely not feasible. But now with 3D printing, these kind of things are possible. And maybe this is more conceptual, this is more art than a real product that is ready for a large customer base. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. What we then saw after, first small garage entrepreneurs engaged is that the bigger brands started to figure out that, hey, wait a minute, this is actually very interesting for us as well. Think about the fashion industry and how fast they're moving. And it's always a challenge in the fashion industry to get your products actually shown on the runway to get them into the stores. So we worked with Kimberly Ovitz, who wanted to have her accessories, her jewelry, available the day she showed them on the runway. And in working with us, she could. And she had them on the runway, and at the same moment, she opened her shop and she started selling them, which is something that without 3D printing would never be possible. Again, underpinning how compelling and how game-changing this really is. I already mentioned this briefly. One of the things I found at some point while looking through our big database of products is that people iterate their products much faster. It's just like, again, the parallel with software, where when software was published through retail, you got a new version of software maybe every year. Today, bug fixes and new versions are automatically uploaded to your computer as long as you're online. And as a result, features get updated and get better much faster, and bugs get fixed almost instantaneous. Now, it won't be instantaneous for products, but it will be much faster. And as a result, this example from a designer called Christina Westbrook, who's an avid user, she made a first version of her iPhone case, and then she iterated through that. And in less than a couple of months, she had 24 different versions, and actually it's much further than that right now. And it's just like with open source software, right, where you can develop quickly, you can release it, but you can also fork and have different versions that start living their own lives. And when people start working together with that, you get really open source products. We have to figure out how that works from a license perspective, but we're working on that. And it's really compelling what that might cost. Access to a global market. How hard is it to already sell in your local environment or in a big company like the United States, or a big country like the United States? Can you imagine as a small entrepreneur if you want to sell worldwide? Well, with our platform you can, because we ship worldwide. You publish, and the moment it is published, you can start getting orders from countries as far away as Tunisia. We get orders from India, we get orders from Chile, Canada, the Netherlands, everywhere. And for a garage entrepreneur to immediately engage with the global market, just like with the internet, for physical products it wasn't possible. And 3D printing is making this possible, which I think is really good. Then the whole other category, I've talked a lot about the new products. And of course, when you get a blank canvas, you can start coming up with all kinds of new ideas, which is amazing and powerful as a concept. But one of the things that we still have not fixed well with mass manufactured things is spare parts. Depending on the product, some companies have to keep spare parts in their magazines of their warehouses for 10 or sometimes 20 or 30 years. And that is very, very expensive because you never know how many you would need. And lo and behold, after 10 years, if you would need more than you originally had made, now making them again is going to be very expensive. Now, since most products are already designed using computer-aided design tools anyhow, you have the digital assets as a company. Wouldn't it make total sense to put those spare parts available for sale online? So when people need the spare parts, they just go there, they click on them, and they get them a few days later. It's not possible for all spare parts today, but they see a huge opportunity there. And actually, we were working with a small company called TH Engineering, and they made their files available for download. They can print at home, or they can print using our service, and that is what 3D printing can enable as well. And then, of course, for big brands, there is an opportunity because you have a product like the GoPro, which is wildly popular. But people come up with all kinds of new solutions, new applications that you as a company can possibly cater to easily. And with 3D printing, people can start defining the value of those products in many different ways. We also see things that where people combine them. For instance, we have the DJI Phantom quadcopter that is very popular today, and people are making gimbals, mounts for GoPros on those quadcopters. And they make them much better than anyone else had come up with. And all of a sudden, these things go viral, and we see a lot of these weird-looking things. We have to look into them and go, oh, wait a minute. These are gimbals for GoPros on these quadcopters. And people define that value themselves. And I don't think that the creativity of the large crowd, the creativity of everyone can ever be matched by the creativity of corporates or companies. We're truly unlocking people's creativity and making it possible to turn that creativity into physical products. And for brands, that's actually a very compelling thing because people can now come up with ideas and use their products in many different ways that they didn't even think of. As a result, what does that mean? I talked about a lot of opportunities and a lot of things we see happening. But what does that mean in numbers? Well, I can take you through a few. We have printed over 2 million products to date, which some people calculated is over 61,000 boxes of TikToks. And actually, we're printing over 100,000 of these products every month now. And by the end of the year, it will be somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 products every month that will be added to this list. We use a lot of tape to box up and ship all these parts to our users. One of the things I'm most excited about is the new products we see. I mean, I talked about all the possibilities and the creativity we're unleashing, and the fact that every month we get 100,000 new products to our site, and that this number is growing really fast. It was only like 30 or 40,000 at the beginning of last year. So in a year's time, we went from 30,000 to 100,000, which makes me believe that by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised that 250 to 300,000 products are uploaded to our site on a monthly basis. Can you imagine the inventory that we carry digitally? I mean, the engineering department is already starting to scratch their heads how to store all that content. And we're adding about 2 terabytes of data every month, and it will grow faster and faster. We cleaned 45 football fields of factory space to make sure that our factories are always extremely tidy and clean over the course of a year. And that gives you a bit of an indication. With a small team, because it's Shapeways in manufacturing and distribution, we have about 60 people working. So we're not like 500 or 5,000 people working in huge factories. It's a small team that's actually capable of pulling this off thanks to 3D printing. And then I think another nice number is 10. The number of times one product of one of our users, maybe one of you, is touched by our crew before we actually give it to UPS and it is sent your way. As we are a service, we provide much more than just the printing. We make sure that the files are correct for printing, we make sure that you can actually manufacture it. And after it is made, we make sure that it's cleaned well, we provide tumbling and dyeing, post-production options, and then of course we need to sort it and put it in the right box and ship it to you. And all of that is actually quite a bit of work that we need to do as fast as possible, so you get your products as fast as possible, which we're committed to. So, think about the impact this is having. You know, hundreds of thousands of people are already doing this, but the potential out there is millions, even tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people doing this. We're already seeing 100,000 products a month. Can you imagine if those numbers of people start to engage, work together? It's going to completely transform how we think about products. Because the future of products is not make a lot of a few products, as is true in the mass manufacturing paradigm, but it's going to make a few of an enormous amount of products. Products that you care about, products that everybody cares about. And what that is for you individually might be different from someone else, but that doesn't matter, because 3D printing really makes it possible to do that. And I think we're on the evening of a whole new age, an age that is defined by the democratization of manufacturing. 3D printing is going to empower everyone, any one of you, to make whatever they want. So, I'm moving the text here, but I think in the end is, you know, if you haven't done it already, engage, start making your own stuff and start selling it. And everybody can do that right now, using 3D printing. Thanks.